Violations of civil liberties with government surveillance. If the government faces threats to national security, it is valuable to balance the need to preserve security with civil liberties. When dealing with emerging issues, the government often violated civil liberties with the surveillance practice. The government surveillance of the civil rights activists, such as César Estrada Chávez, the leader of the United Farm Workers, and Henry Epstein, the Holocaust survivor and Black Lives Matter activist, are bright examples of civil rights violations in the name of national security. During the 1960s, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Director John Edgar Hoover did not approve of the civil rights movement, believing it was a communist plot. The fear of communism expansion, the Cold War, and the arms race created the historical circumstances of government surveillance implementation. The government rationale was the Red Scare. Since 1924, the FBI, led by Hoover, focused on identifying communists and radical anarchists. The surveillance case started in 1965 with an inquiry about Chávez's alleged communist background. The FBI surveillance of César Estrada Chávez was preceded by expanding the FBI's responsibilities in domestic counterespionage, espionage, and sabotage and the foundation of counterintelligence program projects. Although the surveillance case was marked by the passing of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, prohibiting various types of discrimination, politicians still saw social activists as a threat. The case end coincided with the Freedom of Information Act introduction in 1966, allowing citizens to see the files with their personal information. The FBI attended the United Farm Workers rallies and kept regular checks on the group. The FBI also had its informants and applied direct interrogations. The stated example of surveillance should be examined as a part of anti-communist action to show its impact on U.S. society. The main effect of such surveillance was the rise of paranoia and hysteria. The anti-communist implication of surveillance was an outrageous example of civil liberties violations. In national security frames, the knowledge of being under supervision could result in fading of espionage activity. However, it is debatable because espionage also became more elaborate and invisible. People criticized the FBI for its surveillance application on civil rights leaders. Under Hoover, the Bureau acted independently without external political control. Lengthy surveillance in Chávez's case was excessive because his activity was a natural reaction to the issues existing in U.S. society. Henry Epstein frequently communicated with the FBI's Civil Rights Division on discrimination cases. However, in 2006, she became the subject of surveillance due to her association with the pro-Palestinian International Solidarity Movement. The surveillance implementation is connected with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Epstein was devoted to eliminating the Israeli occupation of Palestine. The rationale for implementing government surveillance was the investigation of another activist's death. The FBI used the technology of web pages and weblog monitoring. The most prominent legislation acts connected with this case are the USA Patriot Act of 2001 and the FISA Amendment Act of 2008. After revealing the matter, the U.S. society was discouraged, but a murder investigation could include such measures. It is the case when civil liberties should give way to national security issues. Thus, the FBI uses its power to investigate suspicious ideas and crimes. Sometimes surveillance seems reasonable, sometimes it is unnecessary and paranoid. The stated cases of Chávez and Epstein show various sides of it. The search for Soviet ties during the period of burning social issues of workers' rights protection with paranoia and resistance to accepting the reality and the investigation of a crime that happened in the foreign country. In both cases, civil rights were violated, but every surveillance case has a different weight in terms of national security.